The night before, you're locked in. New plan, new rules. This time you mean it. Then the alarm goes off, and something in you just doesn't. Not because you're weak, not because you don't care, because your brain is fighting you. And here's the part nobody talks about. It's not fighting you randomly. It's fighting you on purpose, because somewhere deep in your wiring, you don't actually believe you're the person who does this. And until that changes, nothing else will. Here's what most people do when they fall off. They decide they need more discipline, more willpower, more forcing, more pushing through, and it works for a few days. Then it doesn't. And here's why. Willpower isn't a skill you build, it's a fuel tank, and that tank has a limit. Every decision you make today, what to eat, what to reply to, what to focus on, all of it draws from the same reserve your brain uses for self-control. By mid-afternoon, that tank is running low. That's not weakness, that's just how the brain works. Researchers call this ego depletion. In plain terms, your brain gets tired of making decisions, and when it's tired, it defaults. Back to what's easy, back to what's familiar, back to what feels like you. And that last part, that's where everything gets interesting. Because here's what's actually happening when you try to change something about yourself and your brain keeps pulling you back. Your brain isn't lazy, it's consistent. There's a part of your brain that's constantly running a background check on everything you do, and it's asking one question. Does this feel like me? Not, is this good for me? Not, do I want this? Does this feel like me? And if the answer is no, your brain doesn't just let it slide. It creates friction, a low-level discomfort, a pull towards something easier, a reason to check your phone, a sudden urge to do literally anything else. You call that procrastination. Your brain calls it protection, because your brain isn't trying to stop you from succeeding. It's trying to keep you consistent with the person it believes you already are. And if that person, deep down, is someone who struggles to follow through, then following through feels like a threat. Not a goal, a threat. And your brain treats it exactly like one. So here's what the loop looks like. You try, your brain resists, you fail. That failure confirms the belief. I'm just not someone who does this. The belief gets stronger. Next time the resistance comes earlier and harder, until you're not even consciously deciding to quit. It just feels like you, like this is just who you are. Think about the last time you quit something you actually wanted. That wasn't you giving up. That was your brain doing its job, protecting who it believes you are with everything it has. Before we get into how to actually break this, let me just say something clearly. You were never the problem. Your brain was running a story, and you kept trying to overpower that story with willpower. You can't. You cannot force your way past a brain that's treating your goals as a threat. The only way out is to change what your brain believes. Here's how. Quick question, and be honest with yourself. When a habit falls apart, what's the first thing you say? 1. I just don't have enough discipline. 2. I'll start properly again next week. 3. I'm just not that kind of person. 4. Something always gets in the way. Drop your number in the comments, because your answer tells me exactly which story your brain is currently running. So, if willpower doesn't work, and motivation runs out, what actually changes the identity? Evidence. Not big dramatic evidence. Small evidence. Evidence your brain literally cannot argue with. 2 push-ups, 1 page, 1 glass of water instead of the coffee. Now, before you think that's too small to matter, here's what's actually happening in your brain when you do those 2 push-ups. Every time you repeat a behaviour, even a tiny one, your brain physically strengthens the connection associated with that identity. Neurons that fire together, wire together. And I know 2 push-ups sounds ridiculous, but your brain doesn't care how small it is. It only cares that you showed up. Because showing up is the evidence, and evidence is what changes the story. 2 push-ups isn't about fitness, it's proof. Proof that you are someone who shows up. And proof is what your brain responds to, not inspiration, not intention, not a better plan. Proof. And here's the thing about proof. It stacks. Every small action is a vote for the version of you that you're trying to become. Miss a day? Fine. You don't restart. You continue. Because missing one day doesn't erase the votes, but restarting does. Now there's one more thing that quietly destroys all of this if you ignore it. Your environment. Because your brain doesn't just respond to beliefs, it responds to what it sees. Your phone on the nightstand activates the scrolling behaviour before your brain has fully woken up. Your cluttered desk activates the overwhelm response before you've started a single task. You can't build a new identity inside an environment wired to reinforce the old one. So do this instead. Make the cues for who you want to be visible. Make the cues for who you used to be invisible. Book on the pillow, phone in another room, shoes by the door. You're not relying on discipline. You're making the right behavior the path of least resistance. And suddenly, you don't need more willpower. Your environment is doing the work. You were never undisciplined. You were trying to act like someone your brain didn't believe you were yet. And you were using the one tool guaranteed to run out, to fight a belief that runs 24 hours a day. The shift isn't more discipline. It's changing what your brain believes is true about you. One small vote at a time. One piece of evidence at a time. One moment of continuing instead of restarting at a time. Do that long enough, and discipline stops being something you have to force. It becomes something you just are. Your brain isn't lazy. It's loyal. Loyal to a version of you that no longer fits. If this finally explains something you've been fighting for a long time, save this video. Come back to it when the resistance shows up. Share it with one person who keeps calling themselves lazy when their brain is just protecting the wrong story. Subscribe, because that's all this channel does. Brain science, in plain language, so you actually understand what's happening and what to do about it. And the video that connects directly to this one, you're not lazy, you're trying to be someone you don't believe you are, is right here. Watch it next. It completes the picture.